And we are back again, man. It feels weird to say that, you know.
Yeah, it's been a
Man, Chris,
minute, dog.
been a good little bit, dog. Been a good little bit. You know, it's your friendly neighborhood film watchers. I'm your
Man,
humble host, Brandon. It's my guy, my man's 100 grands. Set it off, Chris, and together we come together and make Frankly football. It's
what's
been a
up,
little
homie?
minute, Chris. It's
Hey,
been a
man,
good little minute, man.
yeah, man, we done did a couple different things, man, in this free world, man, moving around, man, moving
Yeah.
and shaking, man. But the thing about Cowboy Nation and Cowboy football and Cowboy content creators, man, they
Mhm.
always keep putting a lot of stuff out there in the atmosphere, man. So
For
it's
sure.
always good, you know, to hear those guys, man. And
Yep.
we decided to jump back into the pool, man, and get this thing cracking again.
And reliably at that, man. See, the reason that we've been going for so long is because my computer decided to turn itself into an expensive paperweight, right? And then, that accompanied with other life situations. I ain't have it to buy me another computer, but now, your boy
Okay.
looking right now, Chris. I went and got my first big boy computer, my
Oh,
first real big boy computer, Chris.
So you official.
Hey man, I might start streaming.
Oh my God. Okay, that's what's up, man.
Hey
That's dope,
man,
man. That's dope, man.
so that was
That's
a
good to hear.
great thing to happen, But with the big boy computer means the big boy responsibilities when it comes to
Absolutely.
getting back to my passion. That's this football thing.
I hear you, man. I hear you, man. Myself, man, just being a football dad, man, and moving around, had a lot of time to sit back and watch a lot of guys, man. So before we get started, man, shout out to all the Cowboy content creators, man. A lot of guys out there that gave us, always had time for us to talk
For
to
sure.
us, to share with us, to chat with, man. My boy John Herndon, him hitting out, DMV,
Yeah.
CFT, man.
Mhm.
Foots was always kicking it. Strong
Mhm.
Vaches, who Vaches. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, the list goes on and on and on. I don't want to, shade nobody because I'm nobody. I'm not a guy that would shade anyone. But man, congratulations, man, and salute to all those guys. And man, they kept us kind of locked in, man, when we couldn't get out here and talk our talk. So
Mhm.
thank you, man, for y'all doing what y'all do, man, to make this space great.
Yes, sir.
So man, we decided to get together the day before the draft.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on. Me and you talk back and forth
Mhm.
periodically, man. You with the new gig and everything, I can't get at you as much as I want to because you was back in the office for a second.
Yeah.
So here's
no
my
more.
question, man. What was your biggest dislike and biggest dislike of the offseason, bro?
Biggest
Mhm.
I like the fact that the Cowboys were active,
Mm.
and not meaning that they went out there and signed out world beaters, but the fact that they filled their holes before the draft instead of after the draft. That's a little bit of breath of fresh air. Because nobody that they signed is going to stop me from drafting their position.
Okay.
But what
Mhm.
it does do is it allows me to confidently draft the best player available.
Mhm.
Um, and feel comfortable in the depth behind them.
Yeah. I,
Now,
I,
my least favorite thing,
mhm.
we still got a lot of cap money left. Like $30 million left in cap money, Chris. That money burning a hole in my pocket. I want to go out and pay some guys. Specifically my star linebacker / edge rusher and Micah Parsons.
Okay. I
Mhm.
can dig that. I think the biggest thing me and you talked about, you asked me well before that, how did they act before the draft? Did they fill any holes or pull any levers? And they
Yep.
pulled all the levers that I expected them to pull. They pulled all the levers, got the money right, things of
Mhm.
that nature, and did that. But like you said, having $30 million of cap space just does not sit extremely well with me. Especially when I could have got a Tyler Smith sign, got that ball rolling downhill. Definitely paid Michael Parsons, got that situation squared away a little bit early. And I
Yep.
mean, even kind of giving a nice, or even exploring the options of a nice, favorable deal for Deron Bland.
Yeah.
But me and you kind of talk back and forth about a $200 million corners. That's a lot, and I can understand kind of the hesitation, but at least spend some of that money. Had some of that
Mhm.
money. If I'm going to the grocery store and I got $100 and I got different issues going on, and you can't buy a lot with $100, but when they got $500, you can fill that buggy up pretty nice, man. And they walk
Real
around
nice.
this mug with, $495 in their pocket, man, and they ain't spend no money. So I feel kind of the same way with you about spending the money, especially during the off season the way they did. So
Yeah.
I concur with you that. So with all that being said, you said they filled a lot of holes. I think they put a little bit of duct tape. I don't really think they filled a lot of holes. They got people in place that if you go to camp, you can run full camp drills.
For sure.
They did it at the running back positions by getting the Javonte Williams. Who to me I liked him because he played in North Carolina.
Yeah.
I don't think the Swift was it DeAndre Swift
or Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders, that same kind of guy though. You came and got Miles Sanders,
yeah,
and that doesn't stop you from going to getting a every down back or even getting a couple of backs. I liked somewhat the Elam pickup because J. Lou went and got his money.
Yeah, for sure, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all. I like the holes or the people they brought in for the defensive line, pass rusher, because I kind of want to keep Micah a certain kind of way this year. Yeah. I don't want Micah to have like a position or where I can find him, but I just want him to be a weapon. Which
we know that's not gonna happen, and that sucks. We know they're not gonna let him roam free. In
he can
traditional linebacker role.
Yeah,
very often at all.
Yeah, but he has the opportunity to do it, so I'm looking for that. And I kind of like some of the things they did. Definitely with the secondary for the most part. I like the Elam pickup. I like the guys. The offensive line, all those guys are in question. All those guys are questionable. So with all that being said, what do you feel your biggest need is going into this thing tomorrow? And going into this thing the whole weekend.
Yeah.
What's your biggest need? What do you
need?
Yeah, what do you got to come away with, B, that you ain't, ready to gas up the whip from Richmond and, talking about Chris, we got to go hurt some people. Don't ask me no questions. And I got to ask you, which car we taking.
Yeah. So as far as needs, how much time you got? Because I think that there's a need at every position except quarterback. They satisfied that in the trade, right?
Okay. I got you with that. Okay.
But there's a need everywhere. There's a
everywhere?
need absolutely. There's a need at running back. There's a need on the O-line. There's a need at wide receiver. There's a need at tight end.
So there's a need at every position group, or is there a need at every position?
I'll say every position group because
there you go.
You need a starting running back. Your wide receiver 2 is a starter. You need a wide receiver. You need a backup tight end, and hopefully to kind of see, what your starting guy is, if he can get back to another good year. You know what I'm saying? You need a guard. You might need a tackle. Because who knows how?
Wait a minute, because see, there you go. See, there you go. How things differ. Some things stay the same. Either we need positions at groups. We need a couple pieces of the group, or do we need like holes everywhere? So let's stay at one side of the ball. Sure. On the offensive side, okay, you said there's no need at quarterback, and you got your backup in Joe Milton, which is great because now you got a guy with a little bit of promise, a little bit of physical upside. I love that. Okay, Rain comes back healthy, I'm happy. My running back room, I definitely could use. I could take 1 or 2 guys. Yeah. Okay, I could take.
Hey, Chris, Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders might not even make this 53-man roster. All right. So I need 1, maybe 2. I need at least 1, 2. I'll be happy.
I mean, you're gonna go into camp with like 6 running backs right now that I'm looking at. At least 4, at least 5, 6.
That roster is 90 men until cut day.
Yeah, till cut day. So I can see you taking 2, and I don't see any of the guys you have on the roster right now making you have to hold on to someone. I give you that. Your wide receiver room, I want you to tell me why you hate your wide receiver room so much. Because I really don't. Because I don't think you need. Because I really think you only got room for 1 guy.
It's CeeDee Lamb and the Pips. So.
I mean, okay. Tell me why they the Pips.
We've been so. It is unfortunate that it's been like this, right? But the expectations and the responsibilities that were laid upon Jalen Tolbert is unfair. He was drafted in the 3rd round after they had the Michael Gallup situation and the Amari Cooper situation. He hasn't necessarily lived up to the high expectations that were upon him, or was able to fulfill the high responsibilities that were upon him as being our second wide receiver, right? If he wants to be the third guy or the fourth guy, great, all power to you. But as your two, I need my two to get more than 570 yards is just off the top of my head what he might have had. So his touchdown production was great. Wait, let me land. Jonathan Mingo, potential guy, but you can't rely on him to be your two right now. If he ends up being great, awesome. Flournoy, same thing. Potential guy. If you can't rely on him to be your two, great. So I said this before, back months ago. You have to pretend like these guys don't exist. And what I mean by that is release them from expectations. If they do great, then cool. But you just gotta pretend like they don't exist on your roster. They can't stop you from the progress at the position, And that is where all of the guys behind CeeDee Lamb are at right now.
Okay, so help me understand this, because I could have sworn that the wide receiver coach that we had, first off, Tolbert has had a situation where, one, he had a really bad OC.
Yep, unfortunate.
But see, he gets to walk away from being a terrible ass OC because he ended up being on the team that won the Super Bowl. That doesn't negate him from the years before when he was a terrible ass OC. I think I'm repeating myself. Right. So you turn around and go from that, and then you turn around and you get your wide receiver coach. Because one thing that we always believed in, coaching matters.
Absolutely.
So if my wide receiver coach is subpar, I got a bad OC that got me running option routes as a rookie, and I'm trying to learn the NFL. Then the next year I get another guy who isn't really up to teach me to the next level, but I continue to progress. I don't think he's a 2, but I definitely think he's a serviceable 4. I'll give him that. Yeah, okay, sure. I'll give him the 4. Yeah. And as a third round pick and being a 4, okay,
his situation was unfortunate. His situation was very unfortunate. But you kind of got to live in the reality of things that now, hopefully he does better with his new coaching staff and more time under his belt. But where he is right now, he can be your 3 or your 4. But your 2, he's not there yet.
Okay, I get it. Now, as my 3, the poo-pooiness that a lot of Cowboy Nations has done to Jonathan Mingo. Correct me if I'm wrong. When Mingo was coming out of Ole Miss,
I loved him. I loved him coming out of Ole Miss.
Right.
But so he was unfortunate enough to be in a horrible organization. He's not there yet.
But my thing is, he was fortunate enough to be he was in a bad situation being in Carolina. How many
paid too much for him, on and on.
That's not an issue for me because I still think he's a great talent. My thing is, how many games did we see him play with Rain?
None.
Right. None. So I'm not judging nobody on that wide receiver core that played without Rain. I really don't. And he has the typical prototypical size to be your third wide receiver. And I'm not knocking him off. So no, it's not a hopefully thing. I think
until he proves it, you can't lay that upon him.
But yes, you do lay it behind him because he has the pedigree. Plus he had the draft capital. We were looking at that he would have been a guy. So if I put him with a NFL QB, a real NFL QB, I can feel good about it. I can't judge anything he did when he was messing around with Cooper Rush. I can't. So I kind of put a wait and see. But I'm not killing this kid because I haven't seen him with Rain. So in my opinion, I got room for one. I got to give Flournoy the ability to have a full season to figure out what he is. So
let him compete with the other 2 guys.
I mean, I don't think he has to compete with the other 2 guys. I think you're sitting here right now looking at a room where you got CD, and everybody's not going to have 2-3 premier guys. You're gonna have your number 1 guy, and you got some guys.
Besides Kansas City, the top teams do.
I know that. No, but they paid premium for him too. Yeah. You got Devontae Smith. You got Devontae Smith in the first round. You turn around, you paid big money for AJ Brown. Let's give you that. You turn around in New York. Yeah, you go in New York. They picked the first round pick from the kid they got at LSU. Who the other guy there?
In with the Jets.
No, with the Giants.
Oh, the Giants.
See,
they don't have their second guy yet. They were
so
hoping will be Jalen Hyatt. He's not there yet.
Okay, so all right,
exactly what I said. They're pretending he isn't there.
Okay, I don't think they pretend he's there. I think they plan on getting something from him because I think they put a second round grade on him. Mm-hmm. If not, so I'm just saying I have no problem with what I gave for Mingo because Mingo is my second wide receiver in this year's draft. Do I need to go get another wide receiver? Do I need to go get a bona fide number 2 that has the potential to be a 1? Because that's what you're looking at. You want your 2 that have the same dynamic ability to be a 1. Same way we had it with Amari, CeeDee, and Michael Gallup. You know what I'm saying? Because Michael Gallup was a bona fide 2 until CeeDee came. So my feeling is with Rain and having a year inside the system, I think Mingo can be a definite 3. I think
I hope so.
Tolbert I think Tolbert can definitely make that next push to be a solid 2.5. But I think you gotta go get a guy who has the potential to be a 2 that can become a 1? Yeah, I think you can do that. The question is, where do you go get him? Because in my opinion, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in depth, I think you got 4 guys on the board early that once you get those 4, after that you're trying to pair that guy with another guy.
So I want to pivot right quick because we got a question in the chat, right? John asks, do we feel like Will Campbell might be worth a look a bit higher than I pick at 12 as an interior offensive line? So a good thing, well, not even a good thing. The top offensive line guys this year, they may play tackle, but they can be looked at as a guard just because their arms are like this short.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I like Will Campbell. He is in my OL1, but I really like Will Campbell. If for those who don't know, Will Campbell, tackle LSU. Big fan of him. I like him. If Josh Emmons were healthier, he might get drafted ahead of him, but the game is the game, right? So I feel like teams would try any of these guys inside. Whether it's Will Campbell, the Oregon dude, I forget his name right off of the top of my head. There are plenty of old linemen that could be looked at and
as your top guy.
No, not as my top guy, but guys who could be moved inside.
Oh, I mean, there's a gang of them that a lot of them can. I mean, because you can take Banks out of Texas. You could probably if you want to move him inside, but he's one of the top.
He's guarding my eyes.
I mean, some people move him there, but I mean, but see the top guard on the board, he'll be there. The question is
because pure guards, there aren't that many that are as. There's a drop off in guard talent this year. We can be real about that.
Wait a minute. You talking about as bona fide guards?
Bona fide guards.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, to me, there's only one. There's only one in my opinion.
Alabama dude,
Tyler Booker. Mr. Booker. Booker is bona fide day one.
Absolutely.
Plug and play. He's the guy.
He should be a day one pick. But I think that because there's so many tackles that are better than him, he might get picked like at the top of day 2, like top 5 picks in day 2. Another dude is Oregon guy, Josh Connerly.
Yeah.
He's another guy who I feel like could go inside. And he could greatly benefit from it. But yeah, to answer your question, John, I do feel like if Will Campbell goes to the correct spot, I personally think that he will end up in New England because they want to protect their shiny new toy. But in the correct spot, he could definitely be kicked inside because of the biases against his arm length.
Okay, I mean, I can agree with that.
Yeah,
I'm just, I'm not big in where I'm at 12 to be looking. I've only got a couple of guys who I'm willing to blow it all up for. Mm-hmm. Me and our boy John Herndon, giving him a shout out, man. Much love to my guy. Me and him have talked about what we wanted more than anything else, and goes back to some of the simple stuff we learned at the beginning of this thing. To play football, you got to protect, you got to block A and B gap, and you got to protect A and B gap. Mm-hmm. I think if you're stronger inside and in the middle, especially in our situation with a more mature and now often injury prone guy, I want to protect him up front. Yeah, I want to protect him up front. But I also understand we can probably get that guy later. So at 12, I want to go get a guy who helps make my offense explosive and take it to the next level, to the next step. So with that being said, man, what do you want at 12?
What I want at 12, I want a receiver, Chris.
Okay.
I want a receiver. I feel like you can. What's the best way to describe this without really sounding too bad?
No,
offensive linemen are cool. Offensive linemen are cool, and they are the lifeblood of any offense. Offensive line is 45% of your offense or something like that, right?
It's a big part.
But
it's a huge part of the offense.
At the end of the day, Chris, you got to be able to score points. You got to be able to score points. And yes, offensive linemen are not the sexy pick, but sometimes you got to get the sexy picks, man. Sometimes you got to get the sexy picks. So I want a very specific running back or a receiver.
Okay, a very specific running back or receiver at 12. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And that very specific running back, of course, is Ashton Jeanty.
Okay.
In my opinion, he is a top 3 player in this draft. And I'm looking for it. I got a big boy setup right now, Christy. So y'all right here. The chat is actually over here now.
Okay.
The chat is over here now. So I'm scrolling down there. Oh yeah. We got Stevie Mac as always.
My God.
Much appreciated.
What's up,
Much
Stevie?
appreciated.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty, Boise State running back. That would be my guy at 12.
Okay.
Besides that, it's a receiver. And the receiver, there are a few more names, right? We got Tetairoa McMillan. He doesn't necessarily enjoy being called Tet. He prefers T-Mac. So we got Tetairoa McMillan, Arizona, a big body guy. Big body. But he not like your traditional big body guy who doesn't necessarily know how to contort his body in specific ways to take advantage of his size.
Okay.
He's very nuanced in his game, very athletic in his game, and he got it up here. He has a great deal of football IQ.
Okay. All right.
But then you got guys who I don't think will occur, like your Luther Burdens and Emeka Ibukas. I would enjoy them. But my second guy that I would actually prefer, if it's not T-Mac, is Matthew Golden, Texas.
Okay.
And like with a lot of people, when I stumbled upon Golden, I was watching Isaiah Bond.
Right.
But then you just pull up that tape, and this guy on the opposite end jumping out the gym.
Okay.
So,
or he jumped off the film anyway.
There we go.
The film. That's what he did.
So yeah, man.
So that's so you want a wide receiver at 12.
Oh, one running back, or I got a few wide receivers.
So you only got so if Jeanty isn't there,
I'm not taking a running back.
Okay.
Personally.
And
it doesn't seem like the Cowboys are either, for what it's worth, at 12.
Okay.
Does not seem like there are other running backs who are in the runnings for that 12th overall pick, which I agree with wholeheartedly. Like I wouldn't take, even though I love his game, I wouldn't take Omarion Hampton, running back UNC at 12.
Wow.
Man, it's if Jeanty wasn't as good as he is, I wouldn't take him at 12. I am opposed to running backs that high. Just as a core value.
If Jeanty falls to 12, you're taking Jeanty at 12.
Mm-hmm.
But if Hampton is sitting there, you're not taking Hampton. So
even though he's an excellent player.
Mm-hmm. So what is your? I'm just priming the pump. Mm-hmm. What makes Jeanty so much better in your opinion than Omarion Hampton?
Boise was really not a great team, especially up front on that offensive line.
In North Carolina was?
Let me land.
Okay. I'm gonna let you fly.
But guys were meeting Jeanty at the door.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't gonna let them stop. He was. I feel like if you could take the next, I'd say you could probably take the next 5 running backs. If you put them in Jeanty's situation, they wouldn't come up with the yards that he did. Now there are more versatile backs, but Jeanty does that one thing so much better than his competition that
which is
forcefully making the guys miss.
Okay.
Forcefully making the guys miss.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you just got to do one thing perfect. And Jeanty got his bag, man. Jeanty has his bag. Yes, there are guys that catch the football better than him. Yes, there are guys that block better than him. Yes, there are guys that do both of those things better than him. But at just running that ball, Jeanty got it, man.
Okay.
Jeanty got it.
Hey, man. I always love your opinion. You know, I always give you kudos with that. I think Jeanty's a good guy. I just don't feel like he's like light years away from everyone else. And I mean, and all of us are entitled to our opinion.
Yeah, sure.
I like Jeanty. I like Amari Hampton. I like Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. I'm a huge.
Don't get me wrong. Just because Jeanty is the only running back that I would take at 12 doesn't mean it's not a gang of backs that I like.
I like Travion Henderson out of Ohio State. I like Junkin out of Ohio State. So I think this year
both those Ohio State guys are great.
I like him. I like some of the guys that aren't getting a lot of. They're getting a lot of hype because they think people know that they're down the list. But I think the publicity for Jeanty was so high that you're looking over a lot of guys. You're looking over RJ Harvey out of UCF. You're looking over.
I love RJ Harvey, by the way.
Yeah,
man. If RJ Harvey is available in the third round, and we're gonna move away from Cowboy specific stuff at the moment. We can talk the draft. So if you a fan of the Lions, the Texans, anywhere in between, this is for you, right? If I'm a running back needed team and RJ Harvey is available in that third round, I don't care where I'm picking. I'm running to the podium.
Because I think you're getting I think the meat of this draft, really honestly, that's why what I said, what you wanted at 12, you wanted to go and pick a guy. Me personally, I want to trade back. I want to trade back from 12, but I'm probably not going any further than 17. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm not going any further than 17 to get what I want because I want to get into the meat of this draft. I want to be able to pick up another second round pick. Hold on. Let me get a second round. I want to get a second round pick so I can double up in some different areas. So if I can deal with many of the needs that we have, personally, I think your biggest need, honestly, is at right guard. And I might get stoned by other people because I feel like as much as I'm a fan of Brock Hoffman, he's a Hokie. I love him to death. But I think Brock Hoffman is a 9-game starter. And we in Cowboy Nation are trying to play for at least 19 to 20. So can I get him to be a swing guy? God forbid if something happens to Tyler Smith or Cooper Beebe. I need him for those 4 to 5, 7 games. But I need to get a plug-and-play guy, if not through free agency, because I don't think any of the guys that they picked up so far keeps me from going to look at another guy in free agency.
Absolutely.
I'm looking for some
they allowed you to let your board be your board.
And
so, a lot of times that's just the things that you got to do.
Right. So if I can trade back and get an extra pick, if I can get to 15 to 17 and Tyler Booker's on the board, but I also get a chance to get in the second round, and I can be in the market for Burton, be in the market for Abuike. I don't know if those guys. I don't think Abuike gets out.
Is that how you say his name? See,
man. His name is Emeka Abuike. Yeah.
Oh wow, man. That's one thing there, man. These names.
Yeah, man,
names have me in a chokehold.
Yeah.
These names have had me in a chokehold.
I haven't even tried to pronounce the guard at Missouri's name. I just say the guard at Missouri, and they're like, "Oh yeah, him." I don't know how to pronounce his name, but if I can go get an extra pick in the second or third round, I'm all for that because I can get into the sweet spot of this draft and go get another defensive tackle or go get one of the top wide receivers, or at least a guy who can transition into a positive second. Because I think those guys are out there. So that's what I want to do as well. Go ahead.
We got a couple more questions in the chat.
Okay.
And one is a statement, and it motivates me to ask a question, right? So Stevie Mack has stated, real interesting to see if the Jags take Genty in that. Now see, the thing here is Travis Etienne, brother of Trevor Etienne, right, has been pretty good for the Jags. May have had a case of the fumbles here and there, right? But he's been pretty good for the Jags.
Okay.
This is the Jags specific question, right? Why do you think they may be turning on like their opinion on him with them being able to pick so high this year?
I mean, with ETN, I think isn't ETN coming up on year 4 now? Year 4 with the Jaguars.
He close to getting paid.
Okay, he's close to getting paid. So, if you can get quote unquote the best running back to a lot of people's mindset that high, then you kind of you restart the clock with the running back situation. I'm just if I've got a guy who's there and it's as deep as this draft is, and my most valuable commodity is who? Trevor Lawrence. So I need to be able to protect Trevor Lawrence in any way possible. So if I could turn around and maybe get another back later in the draft to couple with ETN and then have a 1-2 punch, because I'm a big fan of how the Lions did with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I love that situation. Whereas
that kind of thunder and lightning type thing, right?
I love that, where he can be elusive. And then when Montgomery got hurt this year, he already had another year to kind of build his body up, getting a little more padding, and then he could be the main workhorse. I think if you get ETN, but I think you probably want to get a different back. You don't want to get another smaller back if you got ETN. I probably will go with maybe a bigger, more physical, more bruising type of back. Maybe
because Genty only like 5'8", right?
Right,
he's not the biggest guy in the world.
Yeah, he's small, but he's solid. He's packed thick. But I'm seeing ETN in him. Whereas I understand there's levels to this. I just think you're kind of getting the same guy. And with them.
To clarify, ETN is on his last year on his current contract.
Okay, so if you go ahead and get him, you're already kind of like paving him be out the door. And so I just think with him being, I don't think I would go that high. They're picking what, 4, right?
5.
Okay, picking 5th, right? So, I mean, I can understand I can see the thinking. Just me personally, at 5, and my most valuable asset is my quarterback that I need to keep upright so he can do what he does. So that's why I wouldn't take him. But hey. That's why we got tomorrow, man, and a lot of people going to throw a lot of stuff against the wall, man. Some of it's going to stick, and some of it's going to make sense. But that's just where I'm with that. So,
and then Stevie Mack said something else. He mentioned talking about RJ Harvey. He said Harvey showcased his vision really well at the Senior Bowl, and he just knows exactly where to go every time. Now that clairvoyance, let's go ahead and word it that way. That anticipation, things of that nature that I like about RJ Harvey is why, using Jacksonville as another example. If Jacksonville were picking at whatever their pick is at the top of the 3rd, right?
Right
towards the middle of day 2, and RJ Harvey's there, I'd be looking towards him. He is kind of around that same build as like Genty. Not the biggest guy. He's also like 5'8", 5'9", somewhere in there. And he a little light. Well, not a little light, but he's not gonna have that build to him like a David Montgomery, great example.
Okay.
But the good thing about him, and I remember this when I was looking things up, he was one of those guys that he played everything in school. He played football, ran track, basketball, baseball, so I feel like he can bring a great versatility that using the Jags once again, that you kind of already got in ETN, and hopefully without the coughing the ball up,
right.
I mean, you just gotta hope, but I would definitely look at a lot of these late day 2 and day 3 guys if I were picking at the because we are. If I were picking at the top end of this draft, because this is one of the years where the top end talent isn't up to par. Well, I hate saying it like that.
No,
The top end talent isn't as great as the depth at a lot of positions.
I just think it's a year where, one, you don't have a lot of guys. You're gonna have a lot of first round grades. I think it's one of the few years that
10 and a tag toucher.
No, I got like 12. I got 12 to 13.
Yeah,
but what's going to end up happening? Well, hopefully, we all hope this. We hoping one of these quarterbacks go a little bit higher than we expected, which pushes some guys down. Mm-hmm. But you're looking at 12 to 13, maybe first round grades. But like I said, being in a year where, as Cowboy fans, we don't have another fourth. Our fourth is already on the roster, and Jonathan Mingo. Mm-hmm. And I think you're sitting here right now. If I could have multiple picks in the second, third, and fourth round, I can do some damage, and I think that's what a lot of our friends and our buddies in Cowboy Nation have looked at. But if I had to stay pat and do what I had to do in the first 3 rounds, there's certain things that I would definitely. If my hands are tied, I got to do what I got to do. And make stand there and make picks. Mm-hmm. But I would love to have an extra second or extra third, so I can get done what I need to get done and go forward.
So let's talk about value, Chris. Let's talk about value for a second. And where you're taking guys. Would you rather have one of these more premier positions? Because for what it's worth, running backs are coming back. But you have those top priority positions, and a lot of time running back isn't one of those. Would you rather take a priority position early, like a defensive lineman, like a skill position player, somebody who jersey don't get as scuffed up as often, and then wait for running back, or do you just take the better guy?
My thing is there's 5 positions on the football field that are top priority. Mm-hmm. Quarterback goes 1. Left tackle goes number 2 because he protects the quarterback. The defensive end because he goes and beats the left tackle to get the quarterback. The defensive back because we're in a passing league. He stops the quarterback from making plays, and then the wide receiver. Those are my top 5 positions. So when I'm looking at building my team, I'm gonna go and I'm going to build my trenches. I'm gonna go get the premier tackle. And then I'm gonna work at if I don't have a quarterback, I go spend the money and go get a quarterback. And then I go get my left tackle. Then I go get the guy who can unleash havoc and cause double teams and make my other guys who may not be as highly drafted or to the point of name wise that it can get off. So in my situation, if I can go get a premier defensive end that unlocks some other guys, it changes things, or a premier defensive tackle. We talking about team building. When we saw Jordan Davis go to Philadelphia, it was like, okay, this. But really, the guy that you had to stop was, Mel Carter. You had to stop. You got to stop Carter. If you can stop Carter, you can stop everything. But because you did have Carter and Davis, that gave the ability for Josh Sweat to showcase what he could do. You could bring other guys in and rotational pieces and be able to showcase to make that defensive line so prominent. And you took a guy like Zach Bond, who you didn't even know who he was from a man on the back of a milk carton, and he turns around and becomes all pro. You see what I'm saying? So I think you turn around certain spots, you can build mismatches and do certain things. So in my mindset, I've got to be able to run the ball, and I got to be able to stop the run. But so if it's me personally, that's why I'm going inside out. I'm going to find wide receivers. I'm going to find guys who, you didn't know who was, nobody knew where. I think was it Pennsylvania, East Pennsylvania? Where did AB come from? East Pennsylvania, Gorillas or something like that, right?
He played in Florida. He played in Florida.
No, he played
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, Antonio Brown. He went to college like some place like East Pennsylvania, something crazy like that. Like he probably started in Florida, got in some trouble, and had to go to East Pennsylvania. But I'm saying you're gonna find wide receivers. I'm gonna be honest with you. There are a lot of these guys, man, and a lot of these running backs that we kind of pushed off to the side. We've gone for
he played at Central Michigan, by the way.
Okay, didn't he play somewhere else? They weren't the Gorillas though, were they?
They were Central Michigan. Crazy.
What was their mascot?
Great question. That's a great question. I don't even know. Their logo's
it was
just a
so
C.
crazy.
So,
Yeah, no, there was one of them. I'm telling you, that dude. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna shoot it to you later. But what I'm saying is, you're gonna find wide receivers all over the place. There are running backs that we loved last year that we're not even talking about. You're talking about Donovan Edwards ain't getting no love for nobody. Ollie Gordon.
No. Donovan Edwards coming out this year. You're talking about Blake Corum.
No, what I'm saying though, we were all thinking Blake Corum's coming out, but we were all saying, "Hey, Donovan Edwards is coming back," and now Donovan Edwards is in the draft, and everybody act like he's a scrub. Ollie Gordon was a highly touted name. Now he's to the point at the bottom. So I think if I go inside out, I think I work out better, and we go from there though. That's me.
Just to still kind of focus on the positions of importance and things. Premier positions, they'll get wiped out fast. Let's use tackle as an example. Good tackles, they don't sit. You can unless you're taking one early. Good tackles don't sit. If you find a diamond in the rough, that's just kind of the luck of the draw. Same thing with edge rushers. The best edge rushers, guys are gonna find that film. Guys are gonna find that film on those premier positions. Lesser positions, and I hate saying that. I hate saying it because running backs are back. Linebackers are back. Like really intellectual, cerebral linebackers, they're back. So I hate saying lesser important, but those positions that are, let's just call it what it is, lesser important.
If you're gonna take them high. Difference makers, game changers. It is what it is. There's not going to be like 6 of them in a draft. There's going to be 1, 2, or 3. And then this year, like we're sitting here talking about it, you're saying, because a lot of times, because we're Cowboy specific, we're thinking about what we need. But across the board, there's some game records, man. Abdul Carter is a game record.
Absolutely.
That's what he is. The Shamir Stewart kid that's out of Texas A&M, he has
Shamar Stewart,
Shamar Stewart. I'm sorry, he has all the traits, but he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it at the collegiate level. So you're kind of like, kind of pair him up to be someone else or like someone else. So if he goes to the league, he gets unlocked. So
he has things that you can't teach though. You can't teach those traits. You just got to kind of win the genetic lottery with it. You know what I'm saying?
Some guys have done that, man. So it's going to be it's always 3 years of wait and see type of thing. With some of these guys, but in that first round, especially in those top 15, man, you want to go get a guy that you're going to say day one I can plug him in and he can go to work. The problem we've had in Cowboy Nation is that we've kind of been spoiled. Because a lot of Cowboy fans don't realize before Tyron Smith, we've been drafting offensive linemen in the first round for damn near 20 years.
That's news to me.
20 years. Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Hey, man, go back and look. Hey, man, you learn something new every day, bro, but I lived it. When we went and got Tyron Smith, we hadn't taken a guy in the first round in 20 years. So then you turn around, you take Tyron. Then you turn around, you take Travis, because most of us was pissed off about Travis because we didn't even know who the hell Travis was. And
that was the first draft that I really started paying attention to it.
First
started paying attention to the draft in that Travis Frederick year. Man, you especially when you're young. I was in high school.
Hey, man.
That's not the sexy pick, man. That's not.
It wasn't a sexy pick. And then you triple down on it. You go and get Zach Martin. So it's not a great thing, but a lot of times we get a lot of smoke and screen from Cowboy, from the Cowboys, from Jerry Jones, because he'll talk in circles. But at the end of the day, I want to block A and B gap, and I want to be able to run the ball, stop the run, and that's where I'm at. So those are my premier guys. Those are my premier guys.
So let me ask you this: you talked about the premier guys. That's going to be your top of the round one. Guys that you're looking for. Who are guys that you're looking at? Later day 2, day 3, things like that. That you feel like you can get those best value out of. We already talked about RJ Harvey, huge fan. But who else do you kind of got your eye on? Is like,
hey man, I'm gonna be absolutely biased, bro. This is our platform, so I'm gonna be flat out absolutely biased. All right. So, my couple of my day 2 and day 3 guys, man. I need a cornerback, just in case, Deron Bland walks out the building and I gotta go get one. So my first guy I'm taking off the board, man, is Dorian Strong, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. Long, sticky, athletic guy who can run, press man guy, ultimate team player, man. Love that kid. I would love to have him. So anybody's gonna be like, oh, Chris, all he cares about is Virginia Tech guys, because I've watched them. I have watched them a lot. Bayshaw too, an explosive running back that had.
Big fan of two.
Oh man, listen, Bayshaw was to the point where, for him to go over 1,000 yards this season was an act of God, because he got hit in the backfield probably more than a lot of running backs in the country. Had a fumbling problem, but a lot of times when you're getting hit twice, maybe 3 times out of the backfield, I like him. I'm in love and I'm enamored with some of these wide receivers that are out here. If I need a 2, and if I'm looking for Rain to get the one thing that we haven't given him in a long time is that shifty, in between, guy who can play in the slot, do certain things. So a lot of people like the Respo kid out of Miami. They like him. I like the fastest guy. I like one of the fastest wide receivers in the draft. And at the combine, Jay Lane. If you're in doubt, find 83. That's my mindset. And then and I can go on and on, man, about my guys, man. But second and third and fourth round, man, I'm gonna be locked in, bro. Because I'm gonna see some kids that I watch work and get better. I'm curious to see what happens to Donovan Edwards. I'm curious to see what happens to a David Neal out of Kansas.
Devin Neal, yep.
Devin Neal out of Kansas. I loved his game. I like Quincy Riley out of Louisville, defensive back, man. I love him. So many of y'all don't know, I live, me and Brandon both live in Virginia, so I watch a lot of ACC football. So there's a lot of guys I like. I like the Hitty kid out of I think it's Josh Heide. I think it's Hittie. I think. Oh no, it's Hizzle, something like that. The Hizzle kid out of UNC. I like him. I love his game. So today, day 3. Day 2 and day 3, that second, third, that day 3 day from the 4th through the 7th, man, you're gonna see a lot of great kids go off the board, man, and I'm excited to see that.
So my guy, and this, I'm not sure if I'm gonna call him a pet cat yet, right? I like Kyle Williams, out of Washington State, receiver.
Okay, why Kyle? Tell me why you love Kyle.
So he separates incredibly well.
Okay,
and I feel like his ability to accelerate out of his breaks in various routes. I think his route tree is very nuanced, but his ability to accelerate out of his routes, chef's kiss, right? So I think that he can play probably any of the 3 wide receiver positions, and he does it well. I don't really think that there is like a bona fide wide receiver 1, like anybody that'll go in and be your 1 this year. But you got a ton of 2s who can have a long 10 or more year career, right?
Gotcha. Well, I think there are 3 1. I do think there are 3 1s. I do think there are 3 1s on the board.
Not quite sure.
3 1.
I'm not quite sure.
So you only got what is only for you? It's only Tet or T-Mac or whatever you want to be called.
I'm not sure if he will go in and be somebody's wide receiver 1. I think that he will go in and be like a very top tier wide receiver 2, like a T. Higgins. T. Higgins is a wide receiver 2, but he's like one of the second or third best wide receiver 2s in the league. You know what I'm saying?
T. Higgins is a wide receiver 2 only because of that guy that played with him. If T. Higgins was anywhere else, he would be expected to be a 1. That guy he plays with, that number 1, that dude is like really a running back playing wide receiver. If he wasn't there, T. Higgins would be the 1. So okay, I give you that. So if I'm taking a guy, hold on. If I'm taking a guy at 12, he must have the potential to be a 1. So
and potential's there, but I said bona fide. There's like last year there were bona fide wide receiver 1s at the top of that draft. I think of those top 4 guys were bona fide 1s. I'm not sure if there is a bona fide one this year. You got top tier twos who have the potential to be a one, sure. But as far as guys like you're coming in day one and you're saying, all right, he's my number one receiver. I'm not quite sure about that yet with this class. Now you got to let the games play out. And I'm not gonna try to sell anybody short. But I do want to finish my eval on Cal Williams, right?
Okay, give it to me.
Like I said, he separates extremely well. Accelerates out of his routes very well. And I think he finishes his routes extremely well. And he doesn't really have like the frame, that you would think about it, but he contests with catches. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Way better than you would expect somebody who's like 6 foot, 180 pounds to do.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, number one. Okay. No, I went back to I went to your comment about the 2024 draft.
Yeah.
And you said it was how many bona fide ones in the top in NFL draft in 2024?
Off of the top of my head, I said 4.
Okay, give me your 4 who are top bona fide ones. MHJR. Okay, that dude.
Marvin Harrison, Neighbors, Brian Thomas. And,
so Brian, wait a minute, whoa. So you had Brian Thomas as a bona fide one.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think he led rookies in yards.
No. His production.
Yeah. But I'm saying that
about when they drafted him,
the production matched the evaluation is what I'm saying.
Okay.
The production matched the evaluation.
And who was your fourth one? Who was your fourth bona fide one?
What's Buddy's name? Oh crap! What is his name? The production did not match the eval with that one. But at the time, Bears.
Talking about Rome.
Yeah, Rome Odunze.
Okay.
But the production didn't match the eval.
Okay.
So
all right.
So, I believe that there is a lot of value for those later wide receiver guys. Now, to kind of bring it full circle and match Cowboys related stuff. At what point do you think that you are drafting a wide receiver and you're like, is he better than Jalen Tolbert? Like at what round do you see yourself asking yourself that hypothetical question?
Well, first off, I'm gonna say this, and some people may look at me crazy. I think there's only 3 guys that right now.
I'm looking at you a little crazy, Chris.
Right. No, it's only 3 guys right now in this draft that is better than Jalen Tolbert. To me, that early. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. Where these other guys have been going to school, playing football, and dealing. Jalen Tolbert is fighting for his football life, and I think Jalen Tolbert he's got in the mortal words of Dr. Dre, he got a kicker to get evicted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the only 3 guys who I feel, in my opinion, in Christopher's opinion, that's like, hey, day one is better than Tolbert. Is probably McMillan, which I'm not a real big fan of. I'm really not. But I love Emeka Egbuka. I love him.
Yeah. If he didn't have like all of those
what he had all the all-time yards at Ohio State. What does he not have?
What is the right way to say it? I think that he probably has the highest floor out of the top 4 or 5 receivers.
I mean, okay, so because he's so polished, he's so refined. He's been what is it? What is it about Emeka?
Wasn't he the one that had like the practice concerns? Like he doesn't practice.
No. Was
that Burton?
No. Burton got some other things going on.
Okay.
Yeah. Burton got a couple other things, but Burton's explosive and nasty. So what I'm saying is that the guys who I think day one are better than Tolbert is going to be. It's me as Emeka Egbuka. I love Golden. I love 4 of those guys. Tet they because of the size, but I like Burton because Burton's explosive and a lot of stuff that you can see Burton do. Burton can do
very good player.
Yeah, he didn't get the opportunity to do that in Missouri and certain things. So,
you don't believe that about Matthew Golden?
Yeah, I think that about Golden as well. But
okay.
I mean, see, my thing, those are those 4 guys. Everybody else, where you're looking at later, they're going to have to be paired with it, or they're going to have to work at certain things. But those 4 guys are probably, top tier elite guys. But
Yeah.
as for a guy coming straight out of college that's going to be dealing with a professional who's fighting for his life, I don't think day one he's just head and shoulders better. Because I don't think that being the case, because it's a different level, it's a different speed, different things of that nature. Do they have the tools to do it? Yes. Like you like to say, it's unproven. It's unproven that they're bad. But I'm not the guy I'm picking right now. If I'm going in the first round, has got to be one of those 4 guys that he's got to be out the gate better. Then he's got to come in day one. He's got to be able to play the 2 spot. He's got to be able. I can line him up outside. That I can move CeeDee Lamb into the slot and make him working against a civilian. That's what I need him to do, and I need that guy who's playing 2. He can be able to win on the outside at the pro level. So that's why I like it. So that's why I'm at.
I think once you get down about like 8 guys is where I kind of start asking that. Is Jalen Tolbert better than the guy that we can potentially draft here? I'll start from like the bottom up. Like you got guys like Ole Miss, Trey Harris. I mentioned my adoration for Kyle Williams. What's the other guy's name? Jaden Higgins from Iowa State. I think he plays for.
Yeah, he's at Iowa State. State.
And then our top 4 guys that we previously mentioned: Golden, Ibuka, Burden, and McMillan. So 7 guys. I think once you get down about 7 guys is where I would start asking that question. Like let's say Restrepo was on the board.
Hell no. Hell no.
You see? Then I'll be like, all right, is this worth it?
Hell no.
Picking at the 3rd round, the bottom of the 3rd round somewhere.
Nope.
And as Xavier Restrepo was sitting there staring us in the face.
Man, Xavier Restrepo would stay his ass somewhere else. It ain't no man. There's no possible way I take Xavier Restrepo.
Who? Like TCU, TCU guy.
The Beck kid.
Zach Besh.
Jack
Besh. Let's say he's staring us in the eye at what is it, 77? I think we pick it. I would be asking myself that question: Are we better off with Jalen Tolbert?
Listen, wait a minute, hold on. For a football player, it's a great story. As a talent, I'm not taking him over him. No, I'm not jumping. I'm not jumping up. No, but see what I'm saying.
That's the danger that you have by not taking a guy in your 1st or 2nd round. You then have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Or are you just adding a body to a room at that point?
No, but I don't think you get wiped out in the first 3 rounds from getting a guy who can make a difference.
I just gave my only 7 names that I wouldn't question it with. Well, once you get beyond those 7s, I am at least questioning it. Like what's buddy from Utah State name? Jalen Royals.
Man, come on,
I like him, but I would question it.
Yeah, but that's why you got to be able to trade back and get an extra pick so you can deal with some of your holes, but also, man, deal with some of your more pertinent needs. That pick it. See, once again, man, as Cowboy fans, they never really run the play that needs to be called to get the job done. When rain went down, listen, man, it was tankathon, baby. Lose them all. Lose every. We
could have stood to lose another game or 2.
Lose them all, bro.
I would have loved it.
I don't care about none of that. I don't give a hot dang about none of that. Lose every last one of them jokers to get me in the best position so I can go ahead and do everything else. I know once he comes back, going getting Milton was brilliant. Okay. Yeah. But in the meantime, let me go. I want to evaluate some guys, but man, I'm losing. So I can go ahead and position myself to get multiple picks in the next up and coming years to do what I'm going to do. Because you weren't going to, going to the playoffs would have done what? Huh? Right?
Made you feel good?
No, it would have caused more it would have caused more confusion than anything else. So, hey man, go ahead and do the right thing, man. Lose them heifers, man.
Absolutely.
You know who you're bringing back. You know what you want to do.
Absolutely.
So that's my thing.
I agree.
So, hey man, so we done talked about who we like, who is this, that, and the third, man. Let's go ahead and do a quick 3-rounder, man, and get up out of here, yo.
All right, cool. My platform of choice is PFF.
Okay.
I don't necessarily agree with their rankings, but I feel
Okay.
that it streamlines things the most. So what
Okay.
I'm going to do is pull up that little mock draft simulator.
Give it to me.
Go here. I'm going now. All right. Okay.
You want me to put it on the screen, big dog?
Absolutely.
I do.
All right. So here we are.
All right.
Now I 100% prefer the public board because I feel like PFF doesn't really do things that great.
Okay.
Now I kind of go right here with Draft for Need because if you go here, what's the best way to say it? It throws things out of whack. There we go. Sure.
Okay.
And I don't really like randomness in my mocks like that. Right?
Okay. Are we putting the trades available or no?
Yes, trades are available.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Cool. All right.
Okay. So.
Hey man, don't put it on no like, oh, the easiest speed, man. Make it challenging for your dudes, man. We only doing 3 rounds, man. So make it challenging.
Okay. Cool.
Right.
So, go ahead and start this draft.
Get it?
And get down, and I'm just gonna put the speed up right here. All right. So let's see who went. Okay. See. So just offer it. I am not sure that I see multiple tight ends going in the top 11. Because if you see here, Tyler Warren went to Carolina, and
great.
Colston Loveland went to San Francisco. That's not,
okay.
I don't really see that as realistic, but hey, CeeDee Lamb fell to Dallas a few years ago, right?
I mean, CD fell to 17 because, hey man, of all the things we know above everything else, teams suck at drafting.
Absolutely.
So top running back on the board is who?
All right, so let's see. Ashton Genty is a giant. Wow. Don't really see that happening.
Okay.
Abdul Carter is a Jaguar. Yeah, that's 100% something that they would do. What should do if he falls there.
Okay.
And let's see, the top running back. Not something that I would do, but sure. Omarion Hampton is there. Once again, I don't really agree with this order. Trevion Henderson is my running back 3. And let's see. You got guys like Caleb Johnson, Dylan Sampson, but I wouldn't take any of these guys here at 12. Honestly,
is there a trade available?
Let's see. Okay, so the Giants want to move up all the way from 34. That is the closest pick, and then the Saints want to move up from pick 40
to the 12.
Yes, but I'm not willing to go out of the first round entirely.
What were they offering?
Well, the offer is entirely kind of up to me. So, like, let's say we went 3 and 34, I would need at least their second, which they're offering to move up, third. And I'm not interested in playing in the next round, so I would need their second, third, and comp third. But that's kind of when you get to the realm of ridiculousness. Once you kind of say, "Oh, give me your whole draft," pull a Mike Dichter, because look. If you put their whole draft, it's still likely to be accepted.
It's still not. You're not going to get the value for 12.
Absolutely.
So run. Hampton's on the board. What wide receivers are on the board?
All right. So wide receiver here, personally, I believe the Cowboys would take Matthew Golden. Personally, I would take Emeka Ibuka.
Okay, so McMillan's off the board.
Yes, McMillan went to the Patriots. I'm not mad at that. I would take whoever, whether it's Will Campbell or Tetairoa McMillan.
So we got Golden, we got Abuike, and we got Hampton there. Okay. Josh Simmons.
Who I believe the Cowboys would take. I believe that if this were the field that they kind of had to work with. I believe it would be Matthew Golden.
I don't care what that. I'm talking about what we doing. It's the Brandon and Chris show. You know.
Hey, Chris, how you feel about Jahdae Barron? How you feel about Jahdae Barron at 12?
Too small. He's too small. He's too small for me. I'm just being honest. He's small. Man,
are you more of a Will Johnson fan?
No, not really. I'm more I like bigger, longer, lengthier corners. The thing with Will Johnson is that he hasn't run, and
Yeah, man. So
that for me, that's always a problem for me. It's not like he's coming off this massive injury that he hasn't run like Darryl Stingley Jr. was. I just want to see you run eventually. And because he hasn't run, that's why he's kind of like knocked down on my board. If I'm fast, I'm fast. If I'm kind of fast, I'm kind of fast. Yeah.
It's kind of like I get it when guys don't want to run at the combine.
Yeah.
At your pro day, guys are making that time move in your favor.
Yeah, they clicking the clock a little bit faster.
They clicking the clock at 36 yards.
Yeah. The laser is just a little bit closer. So I don't like the fact he didn't run. That's my biggest knock on.
So I get it. I get it, man.
So
I'm not really opposed to that thought process.
Now, so Simmons is still on the board, correct?
Josh Simmons, yes, he is. I am a little bit scared of those type of injuries, especially this high up. I believe that Josh Simmons is an excellent offensive lineman. If you just take his skill, but the injury can scare me, especially picking at 12.
Got you. So if I'm sitting there at 12, I'm taking Emeka Egbuike, and then I'm rocking out. I get a bona fide guy. Here's why I love Emeka the way I do. I know that the bright lights of Dallas will not be something that will have him shell.
He played at Ohio State, man.
He played at Ohio State, and he played for a coach that I had the opportunity to meet and talk to. That he's pro ready. He is absolute pro ready day one. So if I line him up on the outside, he can handle it. I can move him around, and he can handle it. It won't be too much for him to be in that atmosphere and with the lights on him. He can handle it. So Emeka Egbuike is my guy. I know everybody loves, the upside of Golden, his speed and things of that nature, and being that, it's more, you sell more jerseys because he's right there from Texas. That's another thing. But I need a guy that when I come to OTAs and I line up, if CeeDee Lamb goes down, I'm not sitting there like, oh my God, I know I got a guy like that, and that's why I like Emeka Egbuike at 12.
For sure. And yeah, I agree. That would be my pick. Are you cool with locking that in?
Oh yeah, lock it in, man. Run up to the podium, man.
Great.
All right.
So we're all the way down here at 44 now. Let's see who went a little bit before us.
Okay.
So I really wish that Carson Schlesinger would have fell to us.
I
think that he is one of the most cerebral linebackers in this class. And I hate to use like that Sean Lee comparison, right? But you don't see guys like your Sean Lees, like your Luke Kuechly's anymore.
Wait a minute. So we're putting the kid from UCLA in the same breath as Luke Kuechly?
No, I'm just using those cerebral guys as an example. Linebackers now are winning off of the back of their athleticism. They're gonna get there faster than you, even if they're a little bit late on the processing of it. I think that Schlesinger, even though he may not be as physically gifted as some, he knows how to start moving 2 steps before he actually needs to start moving.
Didn't we get our cerebral guy last year, and he had an opportunity to play last year that we feel good about him in Louisville? Didn't we get that guy last year? Didn't we get our cerebral?
Nobody on this roster would stop me from drafting a guy. Including my second and third year guys. Overshown would not stop me from drafting a linebacker.
But Overshown's not going. Overshown's not going.
Yeah,
but Overshown's not going to do it because Overshown hasn't shown the ability to stay healthy. I'm saying if you went
very important, by the way.
Yeah. If you're going to go get your cerebral guy, you went and got your, good thinker, quick processor, be able to, play the pass, a thudder on the run in Louisville last year. So I understand what you're saying about. The kid from UCLA. I just thought I got my guy last year. I would probably want to go with a more explosive, dynamic guy, or probably a deep. Me, honestly, in the second round, I really want a guy who's going to give me the ability to unlock Micah Parsons the way I want to.
I would love it.
I would love to get a bona fide defensive end or defensive lineman that gives me the ability to unlock certain pieces. In with him, because Micah is his most dangerous when you don't know where he's at. If I know where he's at, I can shift stuff to him. And the biggest thing that we have as Cowboy Nation is we knock him because later in the seasons, he isn't as ferocious and tenacious as he is in the first half of the season because we've lined him up against 6'5", 6'6", 200 and 300-pound daggum tackles that's just banging on him. And when I can just kind of pick and choose, hey, I can play him in A gap, I can play him in B gap, I can pair him with a defensive end to make a stun or stuff like that. I like him like that. So I would prefer a defensive end in the second round if I can, because I think there are going to be running backs on the board in the third round. That would be my preference. What would you do, my brother?
Okay, so what I'm going to do is first going to check out the running back, see who is here. Cam Scatterboo is not, in my opinion, higher rated than Dylan Sampson, Caleb Johnson, Quinshon Judkins, Akshay Harvey. But
hey, man, hold up, bro. I know we're an hour and 10 minutes into this, man. Man, where the hell did this Cam Scatterboo being like a top running back come from, man? Man, this ain't
great question,
70, man. Hey,
great
listen,
question,
man.
but he received a whole gang of touches. And
I don't give a damn how many touches he got. He is not Jim Kick. This ain't 1973. Man, dude, he is not Christian. Man, he ain't close to Christian McCaffrey. Dude,
he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He is a good player,
dude.
But he is not,
dude.
Better rated than any of
he ain't
these
better
four
than
guys.
Samson. He ain't better than the kid from Texas Tech. He ain't better than Bayshaw Tootin. That dude ain't better than Harvey. And what the heck?
He's a good player though. He's a good player though.
For who? For who? Dude,
in general, he's a good player, but is he in my top 10 running backs? That's a good question. Is he in my top 10 running backs?
That dude ain't in my top 15 running backs, man. Hey man, this is a family show, man. Hey man, cut the cock out, man. All right, man. So what are running backs on the board? Right. We got Samson.
I would not. I could be comfortable waiting for any of these four guys. Looking at the guys who are like a tier below them, who you would look at probably in the fourth round, like you got Damian Martinez from the U, you got Devin Neal from Kansas,
man,
you got Jadon Blue. Jadon Blue is there.
Jadon Blue, man, dude, he ain't even better than ETN, bro. He not better than Donovan Evans, man. He ain't even, man, dude. He ain't better than the kid from Rutgers, man. What in the world is going on here, man? Okay, hey man, what did he do lineman there, man?
Okay, so
lineman, man.
I feel comfortable waiting on running back, right?
Okay.
Let me check out the old lineman. Let me see. There's been a run. There's been a run on lineman. So like I said, either you got him or you don't. I wouldn't necessarily take one of these guys at 44. And let's check these defensive linemen.
Let me check these defensive linemen. Who we got?
I like Tyleek Williams. If you want to look at like an interior guy. I like Princely Umamin Yellen.
Where's he play at? Where did he play at?
Ole Miss.
Okay.
I like him. I would consider him at 44.
Is your Oregon guy on the board?
No, I guarantee you Oregon's off the board.
Yeah, let's see. He's on the board.
Yeah. Josh Connolly went to the Jaguars at 36.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I mentioned that earlier as a possibility. So funny how that worked out.
What about the Hemingway? What about the South Carolina? South Carolina's got a nice defensive end.
Let's see.
TJ
Sanders?
Yeah, Sanders. But there was another kid that they had.
He might have went before this.
Okay.
Yeah, he might have went before this.
All right. So here's my question: Is there a trade option on the board?
There's a few. Let's see.
Okay. That's what we got.
So the Falcons could be looking at coming up from 46. So that could be something where
what they giving
me. We can get like their late 4. I believe 118 is. I believe 118 is a late 4 or maybe even an early 5.
What's that third looking like though?
They don't have a third.
Oh hell no. Okay. Who else?
So we could pick up a late 4th, I believe it is. If we choose to trade with Atlanta.
Okay. Anybody give me a third?
Let's see. The Cardinals are at 47. They pick at 78. That's not gonna fly. So if we want a third, we could probably have to look at the Giants at 65. And we can get there 65. They actually want to come up from the third because I forget the Giants picked the second pick in the second round. So they don't pick in this round. The Seahawks pick at 50, 52, and 82. Let's see if we Yeah, if you're gonna try to get a third, you maybe could get and this is a fourth actually. You can get a 52 and 92 from Seattle and move back six spots down to pick number 50.
So I moved down 6 spots to 50.
Yes.
And I get what? And what do I get in return?
You're gonna get 52 and 92.
And then what? And then I got 77 and 92, right? So I got 2/3, right?
Yes.
Is that the best offer on the table?
It's the most feasible.
Okay.
And 92 is a third. Yes, it is like close to the middle of the third round.
So I would have 52, 77, and 92.
52, 76, and 92.
Yeah, I okay. Me personally, I'd take that.
Let's see if they will offer it. It's a 64% chance. Yes. So we move down to pick 52.
All right, now here we go. Now see what we got left on the board.
Okay, so Braden Swinson is there from LSU. He's a cool dude. TJ Sanders from South Carolina is pretty good.
Those
I would be I'd be comfortable taking a running back right here just because you got 2/3 to kind of fall back on.
Okay. Who's on the board?
I would look at personally Caleb Johnson, Dylan Sampson, Judkins, and then Harvey in that order.
Okay. So you're going to take Sampson over Johnson.
I would take Johnson over Sampson.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you on that. I would take Caleb Johnson over Sampson. Durability, explosive, good finisher. I love Caleb. I love Caleb. So I would take Caleb in the second round and let it ride.
All right, but let's check out other guys. All right, hear me out.
Give it to me.
We picked the wide receiver earlier, right?
Right.
I really like Elijah Arroyo from the U, tight end from the U.
Wow.
I think that he is just a big wide receiver, and that's just really, really fun. He's not gonna block for you. Well, he'll try, but he's not gonna successfully block for you.
Okay.
But his hips are fluid. I think that he can run a varied route tree, and man, he got some of the best hands in his position.
So you're out from you telling me you want to take.
Well, I just mentioned it. I saw his name.
Okay.
He is definitely one of my pet cats. Elijah Arroyo is definitely one of my pet cats.
Okay.
I love his ability to catch the ball. Compared to
I think with Schoon, I know saying Schoonmaker's name on this platform will get you cussed out. I like Schoonmaker. I think he's got a tier. He's got a gear to go to. And I just believe in Jake Ferguson having a better quarterback, man. That can
I agree about Jake Ferguson.
So I know everybody's down on
the ability. He will get the chance to prove himself no matter what because he was there. He was a high pick for them. I think Elijah Arroyo will be a better catcher of the football than him today.
Hey Stevie, stop that foolishness about Hunter Lemke and listen, man. I know we try to make comps. There is no comp for Scatterbo for me. Okay, the only thing that I want to see Scatterbo do in this life, is maybe meet me at the counter at Enterprise or something like that. That's where this thing of next level, man. We going from 7% to 2%. Scatterbo is gonna have a great story, and he gonna say he played in certain things, but Scatterbo is not. I'm not taking Scatterbo and not one of my 7 picks to play for my football team. Now, he can come as an undrafted free agent, maybe. I'd be damned if I put my life on the line for some damn Scatterbo. Yo, man, load me up with Caleb Johnson, man, and let's ride, man.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll be really happy to take Caleb Johnson after a trade back.
And then I love Stevie out here, Hunter Lemke. No, the hell, he ain't even big as Hunter Lemke. I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. We be getting these narratives, man, to be like trying to make guys mythical. And nah, man, I'm not doing that. Go ahead, bro.
I like Alfred Collins. At the top of the third.
Yes.
So I like that as a possibility there.
Who else we got? Because that's what I picked. That's what women is that Alpha Collins. So we went and got Caleb, right? We got Caleb. So now we got Emeka Egbuka and Caleb Johnson. So now with our 77 pick, Alpha Collins is sitting there.
Yes.
Oh,
he wouldn't make it down to 92.
No. Okay, Alpha Collins is our first. Okay, so now let me see what guards are on the table.
Let's see. Sure. Let me add in.
Go ahead.
The two.
Guard, tackle, go ahead.
How do you feel about Marcus Mbao? If that's how you say his name.
From where? Where's Marcus from?
Purdue.
Them jokers went 1-11 last year.
They did.
Yeah, they did. They went 1-11. At third, he's the top guard on the board.
He's a tackle, but like I could see a team kind of like moving
transition him in the guard. Okay, all right.
Like a lot of tackles this year.
Yeah. Man, listen, I love Alpha Collins at 77. He's not getting a 95. He's not getting a 94.
I don't see him making a 92. I would take him at 76 right here personally. Give Mozzie Smith a little bit of competition.
What? Yes, sir. Yeah. And I can do because he probably can go both ways. He can play a little, probably give Mozzie some fight at 1. Definitely give him some breather at 3 with Osa. So I love Alpha Collins with that first third round pick.
That's the pick. And our last pick on this mock at pick number 92.
DB's on the board. What we got?
Let's see. I like Dorian Strong. He's pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
He's cool, dude.
Yeah. Is he the first guy in the fourth you can go get?
Yes. I don't really foresee him making it down to deep in the 4th round for real.
Oh no, he's not. No, sir. Yeah.
I like Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's a cool dude. Man, see, I'm actually kind of past where I'm really comfortable taking a safety at. For real.
Okay. You don't want to take him in the 3rd?
No. I would take Dorian Strong, but he's not a safety. I'm talking about the safeties. I'm not really super duper high on any of these safeties. Dorian Strong would probably be the only DB that I would take right here.
Now, I would take Dorian because I could put Dorian outside. He can play. He's going to be able to play press man. He's going to be able to defend. He's not scared to stick his nose in there on the run. So I would love Dorian in the 3rd round.
But
especially
let me check
if
this
out. Yeah.
I'm not really all that on Restrepo right now.
Heck no.
I like Savion Williams. I feel like if you could teach him how to catch the ball, I think that you would be able to have a blast. But man, he got bricks under his glove.
So if Savion Williams is Flournoy.
Yeah, that sounds about right. See, and this goes back to what I was talking about a while ago, right? You have to ask yourself, is this guy better than player XYZ?
Absolutely.
And while Savion Williams has a little bit of Debo in him, where once you get the ball in his hands,
he's a nightmare. Because you don't want to tackle him. Yeah,
that's
the problem is getting him.
He can't always get the ball in his hand.
There's my issue. So if I'm gonna go with that 2nd, 3rd round pick, I bolster my defense in 2 areas where I do have questions due to injury and because of contracts and things of that nature. That's why I go ahead.
It kind of sucks that we picked that one. Not sucks, but we already got our defensive interior guy. Our 1/3, our B gap guy. But man, I like Jordan Phillips. Out of Maryland.
Yeah, I like Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips is a problem, but I like Collins a lot. I love him for what he does, and I'm not going to be able to get Strong in. I don't have a 4th round pick, so I'm kind of. How do you
feel about Torrey Horton from Colorado State?
I ain't seen a lot of him. I haven't heard a lot of him. Tell me how you feel about him.
I think that he can come in and be a guy who will stretch the field a bit. As we saw, remember this might have been 2 years ago now. when it was the Colorado versus Colorado State game, who was tearing them up the whole time? It was Torrey Horton, and that was against our guy Travis Hunter too. He did some things. I think that he can stretch the field a little bit. He definitely has to refine his game. But if you just need a guy to learn those 2, maybe 3 routes and do it well, I think that he could be a guy that could do that.
Yeah, but I'm not taking him in my top 100 guys. See what I'm saying? The guys that you're talking about, hey, they have to refine their craft. They got to work better on certain things. That is where I'm going to be able to triple up in the 5th, 6th, the 7th round. But when I need these 4 guys that I'm going to pick, go ahead and put that click in for Dorian Strong. And I'm cooking with gas with Dorian because I have to have I've got to have a cornerback 3. Whereas in my situation, if I turn around, I'm gonna walk out on the field. Deron Bland, Elam's gonna play, and I'm gonna put my pick from last year, the defensive back we were talking about. What's the
Kalen Carson?
Yeah, I'm gonna put Carson's back on the outside, and then I'm gonna make.
What I think that does help with is we. Me and you talked privately about like Kalen, and it wasn't even specifically about Kalen Carson, but he just so happened to be the example that I used.
Right.
For a while, maybe even half of the season, we're going to be without Trayvon Diggs, and
absolutely.
They did well by bringing in guys like Kaiir Elam, to come in and help with that room because somebody has to play that position, right?
Right.
I'm cool with Dorian Strong being another guy who can come in and compete for that role. Because
absolutely.
Somebody got to get those reps for half of a season.
Yeah.
And if guy number 1 is getting beat up, next in rotation, figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I just think that there are going to be some things that a guy having a whole year, and I'm always about this, a guy having an entire year to work on his craft and work at his job, he's going to be a lot better. Perfect example. Day 1 of my job, talking to people, it's always you go from mechanical to awkward to natural, right? Mm-hmm. Gonna throw that draft back up, man, so we can get our draft. What was our draft grade on that, champ?
Okay, see, I don't buy into these ratings, right?
Okay,
but the grade was a B-. Their opinion, not mine. We walked out of day 2 with Emeka Egbuka, Caleb Johnson.
No, we walked out of day 1 with Emeka Egbuka. Then we turned around to day 2. We went and added 3 more pieces. We had Caleb Johnson. You got your running back. You got your running back 1, and puts everybody on notice out the gate that Javonte Williams, your job ain't secure. Hey, Miles Sanders, your job ain't secure. You know what I'm saying? So that somebody could be here, somebody can't. Kind of like the Joker in the dark.
Break the pool stick.
Dark Knight.
Break the pool stick, baby.
Break the pool stick. That's one of your favorite moves. Break the pool stick, and whoever come out got the job. So I like that. I like Alfred Collins in the inside. He gives us a lot of push. He gives us rotation building, and he pushes guys to be better. And man, listen, man, I want to walk out of this draft this year, man, with at least one VTech guy as a Cowboy, another VTech guy as a Cowboy. And if it's gonna be Dorian Strong, man, I'm happy like a pig in slop, bro.
Absolutely, man. I think you walked out with 3 starters. I wouldn't call Dorian Strong a starter. No. But given the state of our interior defensive line, I could see Alfred Collins starting over Mazi Smith today. Mazi still got some work to do. Solomon Thomas is a
guy,
camp body. He's a guy, I guess. Due to the state of the room, I said Dorian Strong. Alfred Collins would be, a starter at that position, just because of the state of the room.
I ain't gonna say he's gonna be a starter. I think he'll be a very good contributor.
He would see the most reps out of those guys right now. He would see the most reps.
Yeah, he would get. I don't know say that because I think your first 2 guys are gonna get mad reps. The first guy is day 1 starter.
Absolutely.
Your running back Caleb is going. Man, Caleb, listen,
he's gonna lead that rotation.
Right, he's gonna lead that rotation. But I think Alfred Collins will be a major contributor for your football team. That's why I'm looking at him being a major contributor, especially with a different defensive line coach and things. I think he'd be a major contributor. Mm-hmm. And I think, like you said, because I'm not expecting Trayvon to be back until after Thanksgiving. Yeah,
halfway through the season at least, man.
Yeah. If I get him back by Thanksgiving, or maybe that week after Thanksgiving, he started to come making some reps. I'm in a good situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Yo, man, 1 hour, 29 minutes, man. We got back in the game and got strong, yo.
Yeah, absolutely, man. My plan is to be live for the first day of the draft tomorrow. Days 2 and 3. I'll see, just because they're a little longer.
Hey, man, I might do 3 with you, but I might be like going from the smoke shop, because I'm in the smoking cigars now, bro.
There we go.
I picked up a habit, as you see from the little background, starting to pick up a little cigar game. I got into these T52 Ligas. I'm starting to refine my smoking palate. So if anybody got any suggestions for your boy, please let me know. But I've gotten to smoking cigars, yo.
There we go. Yeah, man. Chris, when we start making money like you, man,
Hey, man,
you get expensive taste.
First off, man, it's not my fault, man. To be honest with you, my brother-in-law, he started me doing it on a cruise a couple years back, and then I just started working through it and getting lighters and stuff like that, and started smoking. And then now I'm my brother looked at me the other day. I was on his behind for years for stop smoking. He stopped smoking, and now I smoke cigars. So it's
you ain't no good.
Yeah, I know, man. I can't judge him no more. But that is what it is, man. Listen, man. This is the time, man, that if you've been kicking with us for this long, first off, man, thanks for everybody coming holler at our board, holler with me and Brandon, man. I love this dude, man. I'm so glad he's got his big boy computer and we can kick it. So what we're gonna start doing, man, like you said, the draft is hot and heavy. He says he's gonna be live. I might kick in with him tomorrow. Might not, because it's Thursday, and I'm probably want to sit there and watch the whole thing. But definitely we'll probably have a breakdown probably Friday morning about what the Cowboys did and what we've been looking into on day 2. And then we're gonna play it by ear, man. But if you've been with us this long, man, hit the like button, man. As always, man, it's that free currency.
It's like down here. It's like down here somewhere.
It's right down there. So hit the like button
down there
man.
Somewhere.
Yeah, hit the like button, man. Hey, man, if you haven't already subscribed to us, man, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because it don't cost you nothing to holler at your boys and know what's going on.
Too.
It's down there too. Right. Yeah. And then go ahead and share, man. And above all else, man, go ahead and drop a comment, because we love interacting with you, man. Hey, man, listen, man, I'm just that dude that's on the side of the road selling hot dogs, man. Kicking it at all times, man. Just being a counterpart to help, move the package for the main man, my man B, man. And this is my main man, Brandon, man. And we will forever together be Frankly Football, man. And to the next time, man.
Peace.